Do you ever feel like you're drifting in your career? Like you've lost sight of what it was you were once pursuing or what you once wanted? And if someone asked you, you're not sure you could answer that question. Well, my friend, if you have, you are not alone and you are in the right place. Today, I'm going to share the 4-step process I've used to help leaders figure out how to get unstuck in their careers and reconnect with a purpose that brings them greater impact, income, and joy at work. Welcome to the Breakthrough Club, the channel that is obsessed with helping you break through to the next level of your career by offering tools, tips, strategies, and expert advice that gives you a competitive edge. I am so excited to be talking with you today about this 4-step process that will help you gain clarity in your career. I have worked with so many people, and I have been that person who is struggling. In fact, I was that person not that long ago, which is why I'm here inviting you to join me on a breakthrough journey. I ended one chapter in my life and I knew that I needed to start the next chapter, but I had lost sight of what I wanted it to be. And so I went through a process that I put other people through and that I have used countless times throughout my career. And it has to do with 4 C's. I like things that are easy to remember, so here they are: capture, consider, create, and commit. If you've seen any of my other social media, you may have heard me talk about a spark. That moment that triggers your imagination and allows you to see a future that might be possible for you that you had not really realized. I have a friend and mentor and coach that made a huge life-changing decision after observing a bus driver. She found that she was jealous of the bus driver who was picking her kids up to take them to school. And as she started reflecting on that and really unpacking it, she realized that there were characteristics about that bus driver's job that she lacked in her own job, and that led her down a path of discovery and curiosity that eventually led to a major pivot in her life and career. I call that moment the spark. That little glimmer of something that captures your imagination and allows you to see a different possible future. So what has been happening around you that has triggered you in some way positively, that has captured your imagination and given you perhaps hope that you didn't have before? For me, what captured my attention was a conversation I had had with my husband and with friends about what I always thought my next career would be. And the question became, well, why wouldn't you do that next career now? There's no time like the present. That conversation captured my attention, captured my imagination, and led me down the path to the next step in the 4-step process. The second step is to consider. Consider your options, consider your current state. And in order to do that, I like to take inventory of what I've currently got going on in my life and specifically in my work. Because I find that over time, the things that once drove me and that once fueled my passion may have shifted. Perhaps they shifted because the job that I'm doing shifted, or the company I'm in has shifted priorities, or geez, I've just changed my mind, right? There are just so many things that can cause misalignment to happen over time or drift. I like to look at what I'm passionate about, what I'm proficient in other words, my skills and my abilities. I like to also consider what is profitable, what can I actually make a living doing? And then finally, what are my principles? And do my principles align with the organization I'm going to be working with or with the jobs that I'm currently contemplating? Once I know those 4 things, I step back and I consider, which of those do I still want to do and which of those don't I? So then I grab a highlighter and I highlight all of the things that I want to keep doing or that I need to start doing in order to feel like I am really living my best life. And I take a pen and I mark out the things that I want to stop doing, that I'm just no longer interested in or that don't fuel me. Again, going back to my example, I highlighted the things that had to do with developing other people, continual learning, public speaking, teaching, writing. I always wanted to write a book, and I'd never had the time. And I crossed out items of compliance, items of policy, items that I was just burned out on after being a C-suite leader and working in corporate America in HR during a period of intense change and just struggle. I was tired. So I really didn't want to do those things any longer. Once you've done that exercise and you step back, you'll start to see some things that are going to give you a better idea of the kind of work that you want to do. At this stage, more than anything, you're just getting rid of the noise that could prevent you from seeing clearly the areas in which you really want to exert yourself and to grow your career. So our third step is to take all of those notes and the ideas that you have captured up to this point and to start dreaming. We just want to generate ideas and create a list of all the different kinds of things you could pursue. Don't censor yourself at this point in your list creation. Just dream. This is a great place where you may want to tap into someone who knows you well, because we have a tendency to self-censor and to play small. This is not the time for imposter syndrome or self-limiting beliefs. This is a time for big, bold thinking. And so if you can't do that for yourself, find someone in your life who can see that potential in you and who is willing to share with you and say, like my husband James said to me, "You've always talked about wanting to do this. Why isn't that on your list?" Once you have that list, turn to AI or a search engine, whatever is going to work best for you. And I want you to start researching a couple of those ideas, because what we're going to do here is backward engineer the requirements that are needed for those jobs that feel so distant and so far for you. I can tell you that I have actually found jobs for myself as a result of doing this work. I went out and I started looking for a job that I thought maybe if I worked really hard, I could be qualified for in 5 years. Within 2 months, I was working that job. Who knew? Certainly not me. So this is why I think it's powerful. Go out and do some research. Then once you've done that, you'll have a better understanding of your own appetite for maybe going back to school if that's what it requires, or taking a leap and just putting in your resume. Perhaps talking to friends that you know work in a different industry than you that might be a good fit. And that leads us to the last step, commit. I'd encourage you to figure out something that you want to start working towards, even if you're not sure that you want it to be your forever thing, or maybe you're not even convinced it's going to be your next thing. But it's something that is directionally correct. Because once you start going down that path, you will make slight adjustments and tweaks as you go. Having that point in the distance, on the horizon that you are aiming for can make all the difference in your breakthrough journey. It gives you something to hold on to. It gives you something to work towards. And that, my friend, is a cure for the drifting that you feel and the frustration of not knowing where you want to target your career. Because I'm telling you, once you start down that path and you've committed to something, you will start seeing things happen for you. So now that you are well on your way to designing your dream career, I think you're going to be interested in this video.